Good morning. West Coast, how are you? East Coast, how are you doing? Jenenne Macklin here, your transformational speaker, wealth guide, and catalyst. I'm sorry. I go for walks in the morning. That's how I kind of clear my head and get centered in the day. And I was just out here minding my own business. And next thing I know, it went from 8:45, I guess, to 9:15 and almost 10. But then I thought I got to get on and see, how are you today? How are you? It's Wednesday, and I think of wisdom on Wednesday. I just wanted to ask you, where do you stand? Where do you stand in your own life? You know, in the circumstances that are unfolding, where do you stand? Where do you find those places that fulfill you and support you on this journey so that you can stay anchored in your truth, in your guidance, in your understanding? No matter what the news says, no matter what family members may say, no matter any of the other stuff, but where do you stand in your wisdom? Do you really live from, what we can see? Do you think there's more to life than meets the eye? Do you think there's more that's unfolding, that what we see on a day-to-day basis is just an aspect of it, but that deep down inside there's so much more that's going on? And what do you anchor yourself in for your wisdom? Is it in the Bible? Is it scriptures in the Bible? Is it the Torah? Is it the Quran? Is it, for me, it's pretty much nature, because that seems to be what's constant, what's happening all the time. That's what's always unfolding, always engaging us, always available to us. But where do you anchor yourself? And what are the practices that you have to keep yourself centered in something bigger than the experiences we go through every day? Because this is really nothing new. It's new for us because we're the new beings on the planet, but you figure 100 years ago they went through something similar. 300 years ago they certainly went through something similar. And I'm sure 400, 500 years ago. So since we know that this seems to be the way the world turns, there's always going to be shifts and changes that's going to be happening. What do you anchor yourself in? Where do you stand? What truth, what principles, what practices do you stand in and stand on to anchor yourself? Hi, Anne. It looks like bye, Linda, because it's B-I-E. Belinda, what do you stand in? What do you anchor yourself in? What do you read on a daily basis that gives you strength beyond the craziness that you may seem to see unfolding right now? And it's going to get really wild and crazy as we get closer and closer to the elections. I'm sure we're going to hear some of the craziest things we probably have ever heard. That just seems to be part of it. But in the midst of that, so you're not spinning and spinning around in circles, going round and around in circles, or so you're not stuck, frozen, not taking any action, not following up on your goals, not doing the practices that are going to sustain you. What do you do to keep putting one foot in front of the other? And what wisdoms do you anchor yourself in? I've always loved Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings. I've always loved the teachings of the Buddha, the Eight Noble Truths. I've loved the teachings of the Bible as it related to the parables. Wonderful wisdom in there. If you lived a parable a month, your life would change. If you lived the Eight Noble Truths, your life would change. Just take one noble truth and live it for the month. Your life would change. But when things out here are picturing one way, what do you pull on that reminds you that there's a deeper meaning to everything that's happening on this planet? There's more to this than meets the eye. There's more to what's unfolding. There's more to what's happening than all of the arguing and the fighting and the fussing. There's more to it than that. And when we're clear on where we stand and where we get our wisdom from, I guess I'll try this tree, then we can also be part of that change. We can also be part of what holds a steadiness in the midst of the storm. Because if you think like we're all on I don't know why we use these examples, but I guess it's simple. We're all on a boat together. Some people are going to yell and scream. Some people are going to say, let's come up with a plan. Some people are just going to jump over the boat. Some people are going to be still, just paralyzed and unable to move and make a decision. When you anchor yourself in something bigger than the circumstances you find yourself in, when you anchor yourself in that, then that will sustain you no matter which way we're tossed here and we're tossed there and you're holding on. It's like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? But you know, oh, my phone didn't even like that. You know that you're anchored in something bigger than the experience you're going through. I think this is the truth. So what is it for you? For me, I anchor everything in God, life, and the universe. That infinite power and presence that breathes my breath and beats my heart. That I contend breathes all our breaths, the breaths of the trees, the breaths of the birds. That whatever that energy, whatever that power is, whatever you want to call it, that's what I anchor myself in, because it's unchanging. Well, I won't say that. The sky is always changing. The clouds are always changing. The earth is always changing. It's always changing. So let me reframe that. But it's always present. It's always present for us. It doesn't leave us. It doesn't disappear. We don't have to worry, oh my God, if I do the wrong thing, am I going to lose it? If I make this decision, am I going to lose it? None of that ever comes up in the equation for me when I'm looking at God, life, and the universe. So what do you have that you anchor yourself in? First thing for you to decide. And allow that to be something, not that was just passed down because your mom said it or your sister said it or somebody said it, but that is true to you. That whatever those principles are, because you've got to live the principles. You've got to be able to stand on those principles. When fear comes, when anxiety comes, when worry comes, when doubt comes, you want to be able to stand on those principles. So what are they? What is it that you're anchoring yourself in? I grew up Christian, sure did. Went to the Christian church and everything growing up. Was in there at 11, stayed in there till like 6 o'clock in the evening, done that. But there was always more to life for me. I could always see that there's more than what they were teaching. And I kind of got the sense that was really more about indoctrination. So then I became a minister myself. I took a ministerial course for 2.5 years because I wanted to know more. I wanted to understand the scriptures from a different perspective, more of a metaphysical perspective. That things just aren't as they are. There's always layers to everything. That's what makes this life so amazing. And became an ordained minister, but I particularly wanted to understand the invisible part of life. You know there's an invisible aspect, right? You know you put the seed in the soil and something invisibly tells it to begin to go through this cathartic process where it pushes itself up to the sunlight. This wasn't the street I wanted. I'm going back the other way till I find my street. So there's something invisible that's happening and making everything happen. That's always there and it's always present. So I wanted to understand, what was that piece? What's that urge that we get? What is it that triggers our intuition? What's that aspect to life? And so I began to focus on that and kind of anchor myself in that awareness and live from that. That continues to sustain me. That's probably why I'm in nature so much. But what is it for you? And then whatever it is for you, what's one of the core principles that you can anchor yourself in? This is your wisdom. I want you to pull out of your bag what's your wisdom. If it's the Bible, if it's the Quran, if it's just nature, if it's the Torah, if it's the Bhagavad Gita, whatever it is, what is that one wisdom you can pull out of there and anchor yourself in? And the way I used to do that is I take one statement, one scripture, one reading, one principles, like from the Eighth Noble Truths, and I would just study it. I would sit with it. I'd meditate on it. I'd contemplate it and allow it gradually to become part of who I was, part of what I would think, part of what I could feel. And then I would begin to come with actions. Okay, what are the actions that would support it? What are the actions I would need to do to support this principle that I'm aware of? So what are those for you? Because that's one of the key things I believe in these difficult times for people. It's only difficult because we resist it. It's only difficult because we don't like it. It's only difficult because we think it's supposed to be a different way. If we dropped all that and just went with the flow of this experience, life really could be easier for us. So what is that for you? Whatever your teachings, your beliefs are or are not. And then what is the practice that goes along with it that anchors you? So that no matter what's happening out here, I remember James Cleveland used to sing a song. It's about the winds and the waves. You'd be tossing back and forth. But what would you hold on to? I can hear it. I can't hear all the words to it. So what do you hold on to? And then once you're clear about that, what are the practices that you implement on a daily basis? See, the thing about tapping into spirituality, or if it's religion for you, or if it's not either of those and just nature, is it all requires, one, our attention, and it requires our consistency. There's nothing we can do that doesn't require our attention and consistency. So what is it that you consistently do from that place of wholeness? When I think of spirituality, I don't know about religion, but maybe for religion too. You're operating from wholeness. There's no lack. You're not missing anything. You're not without anything. Everything you need is available to you. Everything you need is open for you to simply say, I want it. I want that in my life. I want to experience that in my life. So what is it that you are willing to say yes to and then take the action on? What do they tell us? Prayer without works? What? Faith without works? Any of it without works, it doesn't matter. Whether it's prayer, whether it's faith, whether it's chanting, whether it's meditating, whether it's yoga dancing or yoga class or tantra dancing, it all needs faith. It all needs our efforts. It all needs work. So what is it for you? Where do you stand? What is it that you're standing on for your wisdom? And then how do you fuel that so that it takes birth right here inside of you and begins to blossom? Then it flows throughout your entire being. So when the storms come, when the boat seems to get a little rocky and we're trying to figure out, okay, what's going to happen next? When the very thing that you don't want to happen happens, how do you still stand and not get knocked over? How do you still stand with your head up high and know that it's still all okay? So you want to be clear today. This Wednesday wisdom is for you to turn within and look inside yourself and decide for you, what is it you anchor your wisdom in? What are the principles? Take one of those principles that you anchor yourself in. What's that principle? Hi, Sherry. Hi, Valerie. Where are you guys from? Let me know what state you're in. Hashtag replay or where you are right now. But whatever the principle is, what are the actions you take on a daily basis to anchor that principle so that when things get tossed and turned and there's a part of you that goes, oh, then there's another bigger part of you that can say, be patient, my child. Relax, I got you. Or you can even say it to yourself. Relax, God's got me. No matter what it is, no matter where you are. But you have to know what are your principles, how do you stand on those principles, and how do you practice them? See, when I was growing up, I went to church all the time, and I did whatever on Sunday. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I was doing whatever I wanted. Then Thursday, Friday, I'd do whatever. And then Sunday, back in church again. That didn't sustain me. That didn't work. I had to let that one go for something bigger. Something that I would own for myself. Something I was committed to. Something I would live according to. And something I would demonstrate. So ultimately, it became between me and God. However I defined that. I listened for those whispers. I followed the intuitions that I got. I didn't keep praying the same prayer over and over and over and over. I prayed one prayer, and then I listened after that. And I listened for the guidance. I listened for the directions. I listened for what it was I was supposed to do next. I stopped bugging God years ago. Oh, God, please help me. Oh, God, please do this. Oh, God, oh, God. And I thought, we're really in a partnership with that power and that presence. So it can't do any more than I'm willing to do too. God can't move me if I don't want to be moved. So I had to realize that I had a part in it too. It was a partnership. And was I keeping my half of the bargain? So what are you doing to anchor the wisdom that you know, that you live by, that you're aware of? And you may say, Jenenne, I don't have any wisdom. I don't have anything to anchor. Look at this. This is Pasadena. Okay, depending on where you are. Let me see. Does this flip it around? Why we got a blue horse in New York? That's Pasadena for you. So if you say you don't have anything that you're anchoring in, then look around you and define for yourself, what is forever? What's going to be here when you're not here anymore? What doesn't change? What doesn't shift because something happens one day and then it changes the next day? That's your wisdom. And you anchor yourself in that. If it's a thought, it may be an affirmation that you have yourself that you say on a regular basis. When you do your affirmations and you start in the morning, take your affirmations with you all day long to the point that it becomes almost a song that you're singing. If it's that I'm whole, healthy, and complete, I'm whole, healthy, and complete. And then what does that mean to be whole? I'm not lacking anything. I'm not needing anything. I'm not reaching outside of myself to get validation, to get support, to get someone to tell me I'm good enough. I'm whole, I'm healthy, and I'm complete. That's the truth of our being when we came to this planet. Now, we may have it up along the way because we didn't eat properly, we didn't exercise properly, and we still, some of us, are not eating properly and exercising properly. It doesn't change the fact that at the core of your being, when you came to this planet, you came here whole, healthy, and complete. So if you've gotten away from that, then maybe that's what you're going to focus on. But take your affirmations. Don't just say it in the morning and think it's cute, or write it on your mirror in the lipstick and say, okay, that's great. But then take it with you through the day. When things go awry at work, or when things are struggling in the household with everybody home and kids and husbands and wives and 2 or 3 generations, you pull out that affirmation, and that's what you begin to say to yourself and repeat it. You sit in the stillness and you say that affirmation, and you listen to what you hear or feel inside of yourself. Or if it's a principle, seek ye first the kingdom. Whatever it is, you've got to be willing to sit with it, spend time with it, and allow it to take up residency in your heart and your spirit. Then, after that, you can walk with it. Wherever you go, it'll be within you. It'll be like a seed. Every time you say it, you nurture it, you water it. The sunlight shines on it with your heart. And every time you do it, it goes deeper and deeper till it gets anchored within you and becomes your truth. And then it becomes your wisdom. So let me know. What is it? Is it the Bible? Is it the Quran? Is it nature? Is it the Kabbalah? Is it the Torah? Is it the Bhagavad Gita? There's so many books that people actually read, and the Daily Word. You know, you read the Daily Word? Okay, I used to read that. Great. In the morning, good. Now, how do I live what it said? It's great to read it. Great inspiration first thing in the morning. But now how do you live it all day long so that you can actually experience what that affirmation or what that reading was all about? It's not just to read and say, okay, that feels good. Now let me go out here in the world. No, I read it. It feels good. And I'm taking it out in the world with me. I'm taking that reading, that scripture, that principle, that teaching out in the world with me. And I'm going to live from that instead of living from fear, or living from worry, or living from doubt, or living from shame, or living from not enough. Make sense? You get to tell you what you're going to think. You get to tell you how much you're going to love you. You get to tell you how much you're going to care about you. You get to tell you that you're going to stand in your faith. You get to tell you all these things and then live it. Stop waiting for anybody outside of you to tell you something, or you're going to hear it on the radio or hear it in a song. No, you are with you all the time. So you are talking to you all the time. I just want you to be conscious about what you're saying to yourself. So that's my wisdom for today. Glad I did remember. I get out here with the trees and everything. I forget time, everything. I just walking and walking. Oh my God, I had to go. So have a wonderful day. I think our fires must be a little less. I'm out here. 2 Sundays ago, I was out here breathing in smoke and barely breathing. So things must be shifting, but some people were evacuated yesterday. You know, it's everywhere. There are fires, there's hurricanes, there's tornadoes, there's floods. We always have these kind of things, but against the backdrop of, you know, the politics and the reckoning, racial reckoning, and civil reckoning, it just seems like there's just one more thing to go on. But you made it this far. Just know you're going to keep on going, and you're going to keep making it. But this is just some possibilities for you to step into. How you can make it better is standing on your wisdom. Whatever your wisdom is, whatever those principles are, that you stand on them, you live them, you speak them to yourself, you write them, you sit with them in meditation and stillness, you ask the universe to give you clarity, on them so that they become the truth that you live with inside of you. And when you can do that, nothing will stop you. Nothing will stop you. No matter what comes up, you'll be able to turn within to that principle or that teaching and sit with it for guidance and say, what's my next step? What's the next thing I'm supposed to do? How am I supposed to make this happen? Who can I talk to? Who can I reach out to? Who can support me? Who can I support? Who can I talk to? Who can I be encouragement to? It goes both ways. As we send it out, it comes back for us to send it out again. Not to keep it, but to send it back out. So where do you stand when it comes to your wisdom? How strong do you stand in your wisdom and your truth? You know, we good for that. People always wonder, how are you doing? Oh, I'm blessed. But what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And how do you live that I'm blessed wisdom? Just something for you to think about. Have a great day. You can find me at www.JenenneMacklin.com. I really am that chick on a mission to help women make peace with money. Stop struggling with money. Stop being without money. Stop being in fear about money. Stop being unwilling to talk about money. Stop buying things you don't want and don't need and spending money you don't have. Stop. Make peace with money. Then after you make peace with money, we can move into building your wealth. So when you go to www.JenenneMacklin.com, there's a Healing Your Relationship with Money audio there for you that can at least get you started on your way. If you want to join a challenge I'll be doing about creating your wealth plan, we'll talk about wealth, because I know when you hear wealth, people are like, oh my God, I have money, let alone wealth. It's a consciousness. On Facebook, create my 5-day wealth plan. Feel free to hop in there. We'll be starting that again soon as well. In the meantime, take good care. Know you're loved. Know you're guided. Know you're cared for, no matter what seems to be happening on this world. You are cared for. How do I know that? That's an easy one. You have breath. Something's breathing your breath and breathing my breath too. And it's not either one of us. Have a great day. Bye for now. Hi, Jonna. I see you as I'm headed off. Jonna Wilson. So let me know where you guys are. What state you're in, what's happening where you are, the protests, your voting, your family. Let me know. Take care for now.